right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the stream. It is time to paint a V8 Supercar. So we're going to paint today the V8 Mustang. I imagine a lot of it will translate over if you're interested in painting the Commodore. I've not painted this car at all, so it's going to be a whole new template for me. I figure I'll start from complete scratch for those of you who are just getting into painting and painting with Gimp specifically. It might help to see the entire process from complete scratch. If you're an old hand at this, watching this later on, you might fast forward a little bit until you start seeing painting happening on the screen. Probably about 5 to 8 minutes of setup here. But let's go ahead and do the setup. So I'm going to take you through my process, again, from complete scratch. I'm going to open up iRacing here and find the car that we care about. Here she is. And I'm going to go into the car model. If you haven't updated, you'll need to update, right? But here's the pretty car with the iRacing paint scheme on it. Again, I've never done this car at all, so everything's going to be a surprise for me. One choice you might make at this moment, if you have an idea of color scheme, is the wheels. Because you cannot change the wheels or on most cars the number style. I believe that's the same on this car. I believe because the numbers are stamped on the window here, you can't change that. But the wheels have to change within the iRacing system. You can't do that in Gimp, right? So we'll probably play with that in a little bit. But for now, though, we're going to go ahead and download the template, which is going to come down as a zip file. I'll pull that up on this monitor. Here we go. So I've got a zip file here. And I'm going to extract this, and this is where organization comes into play, kids. I recommend having a drive and or folder structure that is specific for painting. And so I've got this extra drive on my computer, and then you can see I've got assets, which we're going to spend some time in today, and then I've got a folder for every car. And so you can see here that I do not have a folder for this Mustang, so I'm going to create a new folder, V8 Supercar Mustang. I think I had one for the old one. So there's my Mustang folder, and now I've got the Photoshop file, the PSD file, ready for me. So now I have to convert that PSD file into Gimp. Easily done. All you do is just drag it over. It's going to ask if you want to convert it, which takes it from the frankly better format that Photoshop uses to the more pixel-based format that is used in Gimp. But at the end of the day, we can all make some pretty good stuff, and I've learned a bunch of tricks in Gimp that I hope can help. Now, once we have that, we're going to want to do two things. So we're going to want to set up so that we can quickly and easily preview the car over and over, and we're going to want to set up a spec map export so that we can just easily, again, move quickly. So I'm going to go back here real quickly to where we're just going to look at the car's model. And now I'm looking at the car's model, so let's real quickly connect what we're doing in Gimp with the car model here. First thing is make sure your trading paints is not on, right? If trading paints is on and you have a paint assigned to this car, it'll override it. So you don't want to do that. You want to be seeing what you're building. So what I'm going to do now is go back into Gimp, and I'm going to go ahead and, with it just being blue like this, I'm going to export as. And I'm going to find where this car lives. So documents, where am I at? iRacing, paint. And then let's find this car. What do they have this under? Supercars? Here we go. V8 Supercars Mustang GT. And I'm just going to give this car 147818. Now let's talk about this. So I'm painting the car, not the helmet, not the suit. There's a naming convention here of whatever you're painting _ your iRacing ID .tga. TGA is the file format. It's called a target file that is used. 147818 is my iRacing number. Now you can find that by going to your profile. And I believe we see it at the top somewhere. I lie, maybe. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, 147818 is my number. So look in yours, and you'll find yours, of course. So that's where the naming convention comes from. Is I'm painting a car. My number TGA is the file type, right? So pretty easy stuff there. I'm going to hit export. And then what's nice about the relatively new paint booth here is that I don't have to load it up in the sim with all the surroundings and all that stuff. So going to the centripetal circuit or a regular racetrack and constantly having to hit reload and worrying about whether the driver's in the car or not, all that's gone. So if all I do is, if I were to just go over here and paint a big blob in the middle of the car, right, just a big blob, couple of blobs in the middle of the car, and hit export here, I don't have to do anything back here to see those blobs, right? So don't worry about refreshing the car when you get into the sim or when you're looking at the preview. Now, the next thing I like to do is to sort of identify which direction the car is facing. Some of these templates are facing to the right, some of them to the left, and I always like to build whichever side is oriented correctly, right? I don't like to build upside down. So I'll build the left side in this case first because the left side is presented to me vertically appropriately. So it's going to move this guy over this way. I'll hit export again back in here, which is Control E, and the dots are going to go away. And now we're at a good starting place, right? So next thing, get into a structured situation. Delete the car pattern so that you don't cheat. And then create 2 layer groups here within the paintable area. I'm going to put an undercar detail. I don't know what that part is yet. Headlight lens glass, that's interesting. We're going to put that up there as well. So we'll keep all of those pieces higher than our paint. But I'm going to create these 2 layer groups, and I'm going to call one of them logos. I'm going to call one of them graphics. It's a fair bet that you don't want your graphics to obscure your logos, so put logos above graphics so that they, live above graphics. Now, that's not going to make any visual differences. If you have an idea of what your base color is going to be, then this is a great time to go ahead and define it. In my case, I think I'm going to do a white base. So I'm just going to grab my bucket tool here, and with the base layer selected, I'm going to paint it white. Go ahead and hit export and see how it looks. Now, really quickly, we'll take a side step and we'll talk about spec maps real fast, because I probably will do a spec map. I almost always do these days. So let's do a really quick tutorial on how spec maps work. Spec maps, you can think of them as a layer group on top of the painted car. Hey John, how's it going, man? I don't know. If you're a brand new iRacing member, I know that you can go and get promo codes directly from iRacing, from their website, right? If you're a brand new member. If you're a rejoining member, I don't think there's ever a deal. I can look and see if there's like a referral thing that I can do for you, and see if there's money for either of us or both of us to be saved that way. But I don't know, man. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Okay, so spec maps. The way this works is you have 2 files that determine how the car looks. The TGA, the target file that we've already created, is what the car is what the paint looks like. Think of the spec map as a layer that determines the roughness or the shininess, the reflectivity of the car itself. So let's go through a couple of extremes real fast just to illustrate. I'm going to go into custom spec map here. You notice how the whole screen just goes black, right? We've got a couple of channels, and the red channel is what covers reflectivity. The green covers texture, right? So my base paint right now is black on the reflectivity level. Now, what that means is, think about this as a quasi math thing, right? I've got 255 potential variations of red, green, and blue, right? So right now, if I go 255, 255, 255, in the red channel, 255 is maximal red, right? Did I do that right? There we go. So maximal red. So if it's maximal red, what I'm really saying, it's not a value of red, it's a value 0 to 255 of reflectivity. So if I hit if I export this, which let's go through that real fast, you've got two files you have to worry about. Your car file, and I'll delete these other drivers files real fast. Oh no, I can't. But you've got your car file, and then you need a spec map file. So just like before, what are you painting? Car. I'm painting the spec map of a car for my number.tga, right? So I'm going to hit export, and what happens is now I've exported a spec map that will sit on top of my regular cars file. These two things work in concert with one another. There's two files if you're going to use a spec map that you have to create throughout the process. And so when I go back and look at iRacing, you'll see that instead of a white car, I've got a chrome wrap, right? A mirror finish car. And I have that because I set white, the absence of color, to maximum reflectivity, which means the maximum reflectivity of white is clear, right? It's a mirror. So if I go back and do this the opposite way, right? If I set everything to 0 and I've got a black maximum reflectivity, then what I'm left with here, got to export, is just the base white, right? Now I've still got the reflectivity here because that's the iRacing basic level of reflectivity. If I want to make it matte, then I need to play with the values and put it somewhere in between. So just to quickly experiment with that, if I wanted to do, let's see, 255 and 90, for example. So somewhere in between complete black and complete red, meaning complete 0 and complete 100% maximum reflectivity. When I hit export there, now I'll have like this matte finish. See that? Kind of cool. Sort of a satin kind of thing there. And you can play with that, right? You can go back and forth a little bit and say, I want a little bit more reflective, so I'm going to go 120, right? And maybe bring this up to 25. You know, so you just sort of play with the color values to find somewhere between 0 and 100% reflectivity, meaning all the way black, 0, all the way red in the red channel, maximum reflective. So remember, you're not managing colors here, you're managing values. It's an abstraction is the word, excuse me, of reflectivity. Same thing with roughness. If I go down to the roughness section here, our green channel, and I make this so I just maxed that out. Oh, hang on, did I do that in the wrong place? So yeah, it's kind of less reflective. So anyway, I don't use the roughness hardly ever. I kind of turn that off and keep it that way. So that's kind of how spec maps work. I am, for now, going to revert this back to zeros because I just want to see the car in its base. Yeah, no worries, John. Thanks for watching. So, okay, let's think about what we want to do here. Think about some designs. We've got a couple of body lines that work well and nicely. Unlike a lot of the American stuff, you don't have any numbers really getting in the way of the paint. This is just going to be a team-sponsored car, so I know that I'm going to put Dirty and Torque here somewhere, and I think I want to do like a split level thing where it's Dirty written here, Torque written there, with some sort of zigzag thing coming up and down or something like that, defining the car. So I'm going to come up that way, down, and then back up that way, and sort of have a 3-color car. Our colors as a team are sort of a red and a blue, so orangish red and blue, and I'm going to play with those a little bit. I'm probably going to offset them with what color the text is. If I remember right, the Dirty is blue and the Torque is red or orange. So I might do a silver front with Dirty on an orange background, Torque on a red background, with sort of a Z-shaped zigzag happening. So why don't we start by placing the logo? And So we're going to close down all the spec map stuff that we don't care about at this point. And I'm going to go into the logos file, and I'm going to create another layer group under there, left, right? And I'm not going to create it right. I'm not going to paint left and right at the same time. Hey, what's up? Good to see everybody. It's a solid dab that's happening there in the chat. Dabs in the chat for the win. All right, so let's go hunt down a Dirty Torque logo. And this is, again, where organization comes into play. Wherever you keep your paint stuff, I'm going to go into paint, and I've got this folder called assets, which just has logos and designs that I've used on all the cars over the years, right? Lots of different cars. So I've got one for Dirty Torque Current, which is probably getting out of date, but here you can see I have a Dirty Torque logo kind of prepared for me. Now, this isn't the highest quality logo. As you can see how it's a little bit pixelated there, but I can use it for color picking, if nothing else, for now, so that I can get these colors saved. And then I'm probably just going to type new logos and do new backgrounds to them based on whatever I decide to do. No, man, it's laughter. Is my name pronounced laughter? It's a word. Why do people do this? So we've got Dirty Torque here, and what I'm going to do is just real quickly grab the color picker. I'm going to grab my blue, and I'm going to save that to my palette here. And then I'm going to grab my orangish, and I'm going to save that to my palette here. And now I've got my blue and my orange easily accessible to me. Probably not going to use this one. I've got the font installed on my computer here, so I'm just going to go in here and type Dirty and change this to Hyper Viper. We'll use the italic here, and I'm going to change the color to our blue. All right, and I'm going to show you a neat trick here that we should probably go ahead and use. It's a great way of making outlines to lettering, and this is something I learned recently. I can't say that I'm automatic at it yet, so forgive me if I make a silly mistake. But first, let's get kind of approximate sizing here. It feels about right. Now, what I'm going to do is right-click here with all of those, and I'm going to create a path from the text. Okay, so that basically just remembered the outline of the text. Now I'm going to go into my selection, and I'm going to select from path, which essentially outlines the text and nothing but the text. Now I'm going to grow that selection by 2. And you can see how that's slightly, I'm going to zoom in here, see how that's slightly, I'll do it again real fast. See how the text itself is outlined. Now I'm going to go grow and up by 2, right? Or imagine if you wanted to do like big bubble outlines, grow up by, say, 5. See how that got bigger, right? So I'm going to leave it at, I just did something there. There we go. Fat fingered the keystroke. And what I'm going to do now is just give this a black background. So I'm going to create a new layer behind this to be the Dirty Backer. And I'm going to put it behind, underneath Dirty, right? And so we go in here, and I'm going to find black, and see that? I've just painted within the selection to outline the lettering. Pretty darn easy. Once you figure that out, man, it changes the world. Now, what size did I make that text? 109? Okay, let's go ahead and do torque. Hyper italic. We're going to change this to the orange, and we're going to do the exact same process. So with the text all selected, I'm going to create a path from the text, and then I'm going to select from that path, and then I'm going to grow that selection by 2. Right on? Oh, I need to change this to 109. Never mind. 1 second. Now we'll do that. Sorry. Missed a step. Missed a step. Grow by 2. There she is. And let's go ahead and give that our black background. And there she is. Cool, huh? All right, so let's remove our selection here, and I think I want to merge these together, or at least put them in their own layer group. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Yeah, I think I want to put them in a layer group. I'm a bit of a stickler for the organization. What did I just do? Oh, let's see here. I make stupid mistakes. What do we got? We got torque. Okay, so what we want is the torque backer and torque, and we want dirty and dirty backer. There we go. Now we've got organized logo stuff that we can move around at will. Now, one of the failures of Gimp, one of the things that sucks about it, is that once you start manipulating the text, if it's anything other than horizontal, then it messes up your, it makes it not text anymore. It sort of converts it to an image. And so since I intend to put this on an incline, and I'm not 100% sure about the size, it might be that I have to redo some stuff in a little bit. So, nice. Okay. So this is all working, except I want to boom and boom. That should allow me, there we go, to move these around. Now let's think about where dirty is going to be. We're going to rotate this. Oh, you know what? Really good idea. When you do text, it sort of creates the massive selection. And so I'm going to crop this to a smaller area. There we go. So on this layer, crop to selection. Same with this layer, crop to selection. And I'll do it on the layer group. I don't think it works on the layer group, but that is going to allow me to move this a lot easier, right? Instead of moving, all those pixels. Let's do 1650 as an angle. Oops, I keep forgetting to do that. Kind of get an idea for placement here. Now, remember how I was exporting to spec maps earlier? If I were to hit Control E right now, it would send the paint to the spec map layer. So if you're dealing with spec maps and you're going back and forth, you have to change which one you're exporting to. So I'm going to go pick my non-spec map file, my paint file, and export to that real fast. And now that I've exported to that, I can go back and look at the car and kind of get a feeling for whether I like that 16.5 degrees. I think I do. I think that nailed it pretty nicely, actually. So I'm going to come down, boom, boom. Let's go ahead and rotate torque as well and just get a feel for what we think. Did I crop this one already? I didn't, did I? So we'll crop this as well. Crop to selection. Let's see if that did it, actually. I'm not sure if that crops all the... Yeah, it does. Cool. So we're going to go minus 16.5, rotate, and we'll just put this up here for placement. And we'll anchor it on the R. So I'm going to grab from this side here, I'm going to grab a guide and put it on the R, and then match my border of the R against the border of the T, just like so. We're going to come up on the whole shebang there. So what I don't like here is the way that it's sort of overlapping with the wheel well a bit. It's going to cause problems with the door handle, so I might move it forward and then up a bit so that the door handle falls to the right of the Y. So that's my first experiment. And to enable that, I'm going to turn on my wire so I can clearly see where the door handle is. Ooh, and we should change the color of the wire too real fast. Okay, so I'm going to do a base white car here, right? And you can see how I can only see the all right, it's Mr. Laughter. I have the I have this moved over, but I've got this white on white with the wire, which doesn't make the wire very useful. So let's change the wire's color to something else. I'll show you how to do that real fast. So we've got a layer, just like everything else, we've got a layer for the wire. And if I zoom in, you can see it's just, you know, white lines that have been painted on top of the deal, right? So it's just like painting anything else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this color, right? Now I've got this white, whatever color that they created this, the wireframe with. And then I'm going to find the select by color tool and just select that color. Booyah. And now it highlights all of it, right? So I'm going to grab my paintbrush, make it large, and then pick some obnoxious green or something that I'll never use in the paint, and just go back and forth and paint that whole thing. And all it's doing is painting this selected area, which is the wire itself. Just like so. So now if I hit export, we'll have a green wireframe on the car. Nice. Painting is done now that we've got a green wireframe all over the car. All right, let's get a feel for how she looks. So if I come up here and then back down and then forward to separate out Dirty and Torque, let's start playing with it. The Z might not happen, but maybe just two lines, and then put silver in the front and silver in the back with the two lines in the middle. I don't know. Or maybe the blue will just dominate the bottom part of it. Let's start with that and just see where it takes us. Why didn't the Q get a little line down there? Well, let's... Interesting. I'm going to do something just real fast. Kind of gives it a neat 3D effect, actually. I kind of like that. I kind of like that 3D effect. That's not what I was going to do. I was going to bring it down and then erase everything except for that border under the Q. But that's kind of neat. I'm still going to do what I said, though. And maybe I'll do that later, though. I'm just deleting everything except for what I want to keep from this area. There we go. Fixes my weird little didn't grow the bottom, or maybe it was cut off or something. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, either way, I'm pretty happy with that. Looks pretty cool. Let's create this blue line to go between these guys. So it was a 16.5 degree deal, right? So what I'm going to do first is just create a long rectangle. And I'm going to rotate it. And so If you're new to Gimp, I want to show you something that frustrated the living hell out of me when I first got started. I would try to rotate stuff and it wouldn't work. And I never could figure out, well, it took me a while to figure out why. And it matters whether you're rotating a selection versus an actual graphic, right? Something that you painted. In this case, I want to rotate the selection, not the graphic. And so up here where it says transform and it's got these little logos, I want to rotate not the layer, but the selection. So I'm going to flip that over. And now I'm going to rotate minus 16.50. Booyah, right? And now I've got that rotated. Now it's no longer like you can't revise that now. So I'm going to go ahead and just paint it the blue. Oh, hang on. Duh. This is where we need to start working in our graphics folder. Okay, so I'm just creating a hierarchy of graphics here that will allow me to do this. Oh man, I thought I had deleted that. There we go. Now let's do that again. Door and quarter panel and then swoop. So nice. Now I'm going to go a little more extreme than that. I'm going to actually paint everything below that as well. So let's turn on our wire. And I'm probably going to be careful to not paint the crap in the wheel well until I know that I should. So let's get rid of all that stuff. You never know what they've slid in there, so. Probably do a different color splitter down at the bottom regardless, but okay, so let's move that whole thing up just a smidge so that it's sort of equidistant between the bottom of Dirty and the top of Torque. Actually a little bit less than equidistant because I'm going to put a pinstripe there, I think. Probably a black pinstripe. So here's how I do pinstripes. A couple of different ways you can go about it, right? But what I'm going to do is duplicate that layer. Now I've got two blue swoops, so I've got one that's exactly the copy. And I'm going to call it blue swoop pinstripe. And what I'm going to do is just moving the layer, I'm going to go up 3 clicks, right? Just 3. And then I'm going to go into my colors tool here and map. I'm going to change the blue. Oh, hang on. Change that blue to black, right? And so what that you can see what's happening here. It's just finding anywhere on that layer that's blue and converting it to black. If you're struggling with jagged edges when you change colors on stuff, this is how you get rid of that. And now because I moved up 3, what I'm going to do is now drag that down under, and you can see now that I've got just 3 clicks up from the blue, I've got a black line, right? And so underneath the blue is an exactly matching black that's just, you know, anchored a little higher. So let's export, see how she looks. Okay, I'm not hating it. Now, next question is, do I come straight up and continue into the roof? Do I come up high, closer here? Or do I just bring the same angle up for Dirty? That's the easiest thing to do. So let's start with that and see how it looks. I think it's going to be a bit boring, but let's just play with it. I'm going to duplicate the blue swoop again, and I'm going to move it up. this new one, to where it's just over dirty. And then I'm going to do it again, duplicate that one, and bring it up 3 clicks. And so now one of these is my pinstripe, but it's going to be orange swoop pinstripe. And then one of them is see, do I have things in the right order? We'll find out in a moment. Colors, map, color exchange, from black to orange. So the blue should be there. That should be there. And that should be there. What did I mess up? Oh, the orange can't be higher than that, can it? Okay, think about this for a sec. Actually, that might be better than what I was doing. I think I might like that more than all that blue. What do you think in the gallery? That, and I think if I do this, I'd have to do something with the bottom line as well. Like I'd want to do another layer, maybe coming along the car here and then up toward the taillights. That would sort of offset. Maybe I think it's just too much blue right now, probably. Now the other thought I was having was to come up, or at least more at an angle like toward where the mirror is here. And provide more orange to offset the blue. But again, maybe the thing about the blue is it needs to happen down here. Come up like this and then back, or come flat with the side skirts and then up. I think it's going to depend a little bit on what logos I put down here, huh? But I think I already like the idea of the side skirts themselves being black along with the splitter. Maybe some bumper stuff. So let's experiment with that real fast. We'll leave this in its experimental stage at the moment. And we'll, in our graphics folder, under left, we're going to create a new side skirts section. And we're going to turn our wire on, please. And let's see. Don't want to go all the way to the door line. I want to go to this bit here. It's where the crease is. So it's there. So for this, I'll go ahead and use our path tool for the first time. Man, did these logos move around or what? There we go. I'm just going to draw a straight line, straightish line for now. Maybe I should go ahead and bend it. Bend it like Beckham. Trying to get mostly on this body line here. Doesn't have to be exact, just close. going to give it that crease at the end there. We'll run with that. Let's just see how it looks. Paths tool is great. I use the living crap out of it. And then Shift V to close it. And now we've got a paintable area. I'm just going to go to the black color, make sure that I'm in the right layer here. Skirt. Boom, 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 boom. And let's turn off our wire, export, and see how it looks. It definitely helps with the kind of overbearing blue, but I'm definitely going to want to do something to make the rear a little less blue. And I wonder if that's just an up and then back kind of thing, like coming up this way and then back that way. Or maybe up this way and then up. Ooh, that might be interesting. Boom, boom. That might be interesting. I kind of like that idea. Well, let's play with the broad concept first. So this is, I'm going to use white for now, but this is likely one of those things where I'm going to end up with, select none, where I'm going to end up with spec map at the front, spec map at the back. I think it's what's going to end up happening. Move this pinstripe up 1 or 2 clicks to even it out. There we go. Looks better. Is it even? The 2 pinstripes are the same width. Now it's too much, yeah. Okay, so let's do yet another copy of our swoop here, and we'll call it the white swoop. And I'm going to just do another color map change. Color exchange. I'll change it to white. And this one I'm going to take down like so. I'm going to need another black one though, of course, to separate. Like that. And let's just get an idea for the general feeling of this. Ooh. Okay. Not hating it. Any thoughts out there in YouTube lands? Suggestions, input, concerns? I'm considering right now whether this should continue back to the back of the car, or what I'm really leaning toward is having it angle up and terminate inside the window here. Maybe angle up. Ooh, yeah, angle up just after the Y over the door handle. Angle up to where it terminates at the center there. That would be kind of cool, I think. And then I don't know what I'll do in this back quarter panel, but I'll think about that in a minute. But I'm liking this sort of double banner thing. I think it's neat. Let's get back into spec map mode. I want to apply the silver to see if I dig the silver as it's coming in now. And while we're at it, let's get rid of any overspray that I've got here. So the best way to get rid of the overspray, in my opinion, is to just turn on your wire, get a big brush, and, you know, just anywhere you didn't mean to put stuff, just remove it. Oh, you know what? That's not what I meant to do. What I want to get rid of here. I need to get rid of some blue and some black and some orange and some black and some more black. There we go. And where's that black coming from? Hey, beautiful girl. You're on TV. Say hi to the YouTubes. Okay. So let's go see if I missed anything in back there. I don't know what that weird little jaggedy thing was there. Was that coming from my stuff? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so that must be part of the... Yeah, that's part of the car's template. All right, let's experiment with this idea of bringing the swoop up after the Y. Oh, and let's also go find our door handle and change it to orange. That looks like it right there. Why are you not painting? Oh, I'm still in erase mode. Real expert tutorial there, Ben. All right. Now I've got that orange matching. So what I think I'll do is right after the Y, go up, like toward the U in my name, and try to angle it. So try to angle it toward that little transponder thingamabob there. So that means it needs to come up right after the Y. I think it's in between the U and the G. So let's try that. So that's going to be right there is where I want to take it. So I'm going to take this little guy and come up like that. I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way up, even though this may not work, and I might have to come back and change it. Let's try this. I doubt that this will look right, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot. Using that paths tool, using that paths tool. And I'm going to put this back over here in our door section, and I'm going to do up, swoop, orange. Go to a pretty big brush here, and swoop. See how she looks. Yeah, see how it's all broken right there? That's what I was afraid of. I need to angle this bit more. So that'll need to be two pieces. So let's erase there. You know, let's undo that whole thing. And let's just do a new path. Something like that. Just make that funky triangle there and go up, over, down, export. And then we'll come up with the blue as well. Probably right after the door handle maybe. And maybe not at the same angle. Duplicate that one. Or you know what, I don't have to duplicate this. I'll show you a different way to make pinstripes. Delete layer, delete layer. Different way to make pinstripes. So I've still got the selection in place, right? So what I can do now is I can move the selection 1, 2, 3, 4 over, and then do another orange pinstripe, do another layer, and then instead of having the whole color underneath, I can just go black, paint the pinstripe, right? And then I can delete the overspray, or I can move it up and around, whatever I want to do. So like so. Perfect. That way I don't have all that extra color happening in the background, right? I've only got the color that I wanted to paint. So let's get a look. I'll turn off the wire real fast. Do I like the general idea? I think I do. So let's bring the blue up, but at a less aggressive angle to where it sort of fans out a bit. And then I'm gonna change everything that's white to silver. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. And then I'll figure out how it's all gonna terminate in the back. I really have no idea yet. It might just be that the back of the car's more blue. I might bend this down. Maybe I swoop the blue, or maybe I just angle the blue. I don't know. Let me know in the chat what you think I should do with the rear end here. But let's do this less aggressive blue turn and see where that takes us. So much of this stuff is, of course, just experimentation and Control Z a lot. Oop, I didn't mean for that to be pinstripe. Alright, and what we're going to do with this one, we'll turn the wire back on, and we will, let's see here. From between the Q and the U, maybe up to about just below the middle of the rear glass. Needs to be more aggressive. And it's also subjective, but I think it needs to be more aggressive. And since it's my car, it doesn't matter what you think. Okay. Got to figure out what I'm going to do down here. I haven't. Maybe another orange, like a triple look. I don't know. I'm struggling down at the bottom. So you guys tell me what you think. I'm going to change my. I'm going to leave the back very much unfinished in a second here, and then I'm going to move my attention to spec mapping a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move my attention to spec mapping a little bit and see what that leaves me with. Just a little spot there somehow or another. It's coming along pretty cool though. All right, so what I'm going to do now is put a sort of matte silver speck all over it. take my attention to the front for a bit, and then I'm going to come back and figure out what I'm going to do along the back. I'm thinking that I want to do sort of a reverse fan where I have another color coming up, maybe orange again coming up, and then come back straight. I don't know yet though. But I kind of dig this angle, right? I mean, that looks pretty cool. I kind of like that. Okay, so first things first, let's get back into Spec Mac mode and go ahead and put the silver on the car. The way I'm going to do it is going to take a couple of steps because I don't want this area to be hit by a spec map. It won't look bad, but I really want the orange and the blue to be pretty vibrant. So I don't want them to inherit the matte look. It'll obscure them. So spec map time again. Let's go back into our spec map. We're not going to worry about the green. I'm not going to adjust roughness. All I want to do is create a matte finish with dialing down reflectivity. So, or I'm sorry, dialing sort of up the reflectivity. So I'm going to go into my red base and I'm going to paint this white because again, I want it to be not chrome, but silver, right? And so we'll go back through this again real quickly, just for everybody's sake. If you join late, if I wanted a pure reflective car, then I would paint my red metallic completely, completely white. No, completely red. Sorry, what am I thinking? There we go. I'm not getting what I want there. There we go. 255.00. Brain fart. So with that being completely red, quote unquote, what I'm really saying is, so color is an abstraction when you're dealing with this stuff. You're not really manipulating colors. You're manipulating reflective values. Full red in the red channel means fully reflective. And so with red at 255, I'm saying maximum reflection, please. If I say red 0, then I'm saying negative or 0 reflection, please. Use whatever the iRacing default reflectivity is. So I'm going to say 255 and paint the entire layer red, and that is going to take the entire car and turn it into a mirror, essentially. So I export to my spec map, and now I should have a reflective car, completely reflective. It's not what I want. It's not what I'm going to leave it as, but that's how you do it. So now let's dial this down to where it's nowhere near that crazy. So I'm going to leave the silver in, but I'm going to bring this down to like a 110 or so, the green layer, which is going to give me an orange. I think it's a little too matte for what I'm trying to get at. So we'll keep playing with it up and down a little bit. Just kind of experiment, go back and forth with your values until you find what you're looking for. That's pretty cool. See, it does look cool when it's reflective like that. I really do like it, but it doesn't pop anymore, right? So in a bit, I'm going to have to do like a big combined layer transposition where I bring all of that stuff up. But I just wanted to start visualizing the car with this going on. With some silver. I like the overall direction of this thing, though. I think it's coming along all right. Put drivers' names over here. Maybe a V8 Supercar series logo there. I'm gonna probably orange headlight covers. In fact, definitely, let's do that. I want to do some orange headlight covers. And again, anything that I put of color in the spec map, I have to make an intentional choice as to whether I want it to be included in the spec map overlay. And so later on, I'll show you how to extract something from the spec map, especially when you're dealing with series logos and stuff. You don't want it to look like you took a sticker and put it on the car and then painted matte over the sticker, right? You want to put the sticker on top of the matte paint. And so I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Let's see here. We're not painting the door and quarter panel, but we're still painting the left side. We've got our black side skirts, which I think really came out nicely. I like that. We want to do a black splitter, I believe. Black or orange? Should I do an orange splitter? Should I follow this line down and make the splitter orange? Yes, I should. So we're going to do a new layer group here. We're going to call it front. And we're going to stop spec mapping for the moment. Go back to our paintable area. So I'm going to export as, get back into my cars paint, not the spec map. And let's get this lined up. So first let's find the front of the car. There it is. And it looks like that goes back all the way to the wheel well. So let's export, get our wireframe on there. So it's going to come down and probably hit it right there or so. And we'll match the same 16.5 degrees angle that we did elsewhere on the car. I think it'll match up. If not, we can rotate it a bit. So let's grab a rectangle here and rotate the selection by minus 16.5. And we'll just rough place it for the moment. And let's just see whether I've hit it or not. Oh, need a layer. Front bumper swoop. See if we've gotten the alignment right. Pretty close. Maybe a tad higher. That looks about right. That looks about right. So let's do an orangey one. And we will move the orange down a tad. Question is, should the splitter here be black? Should it be blue? Or should it be orange? I'm kind of thinking about doing another blue stripe up here that just doesn't continue elsewhere on the car. It just terminates at the wheel well. But before we do that, because we could start cluttering things, let's do the headlights. That's what I came up here to do anyway. So where's my right headlight? Right headlight, please. Right headlight, please. Where are those headlight covers? Oh, they're there. It's a right headlight. Go ahead and do both of them while I'm here. It's not letting me paint over that. Is that not the headlight? Or is that the headlight cover? Oh, that's the headlight cover. At least I think it is. We're about to find out. Okay, okay, okay. Let's paint our splitter orange. Might have some black stuff going on in here too. I don't know yet. We'll find out in a sec. Just pattern and shape recognition, trying to find parts in the template. Because They are not labeled. Something I think it'd be super cool for iRacing to do is if they put numbers on the templates, you know, like in a prominent position where you could see it, and then that way when you look at the car from out here, you can do sort of a paint by numbers thing. Oh, that's the bottom of the splitter. See, that's the sort of crap that happens. Where's the top of the splitter? Huh. Oh, is that it? Okay. I might change the color of the other one, so I'm going to keep them two separate things. Alright, we'll use the path one here since this one gets pretty tight. Cool. Now we've got an orange splitter. No blue up front, and I find myself wondering if there should be some blue up front. Let's get rid of that green real fast. I think I'm going to put a black pinstripe there, just sort of following this body line. This might be a little convoluted and funky, but let's experiment real fast with changing the bottom of the splitter to the blue. Oh, I've still got a selection on. Black it is. Alright, I think the blue will come in by doing some hood stripes to follow this body line. Not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet, but that's where my blue is going to come in. If I do a, following this body line here, if I do a blue and then a mild orange, and maybe follow the orange all the way back, the top of the door, or maybe the blue should be outside with a smaller orange, because the front's kind of dominated with orange, and then leave the center. I might do the center in black of the hood, and then have the Dirty Torque logo there. Okay, let's experiment with that. Let's jump into hood mode. Shut some stuff down there. There you go for my British friends. But I'm going to say hood black. Alright, so turn our wire back on. And let's trace around the hood. Yep, and let's do that in black, please. Now, If you haven't learned before how to do angled lines, I think we're about to see it. We're going to follow this power bulge here back. And I think we're going to do the first couple lines here are going to be orange, and then I'm going to have blue for the other. What I think's going to happen. I'm not sold on it yet. We're going to find out in a sec. All right, so that power bulge is happening. Looks like one after. Yeah, so it's this line here. So let's trace back to where it stops. Right there. And so I'm going to take this line and I'm going to make it as straight as I can up to this point. So I'm just clicking it and dragging it. Oops. Did I screw something up here? Oh, I started it from the wrong line. That's what it is. It's important that you do things right. If you don't, then they're wrong. Might have to do this in two pieces. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of a weird shape. Straight up till there, and then it curves to there, right? So let's follow this line first. I might have to do a little bit of patchwork, and then that and that. That's pretty close there. I don't like how that's on the other side of the hump though. That's probably as close as I'm going to get it. So we'll see what she looks like. Alright, so I want to do orange first, right? Might have nailed it. Might have nailed it. Yeah. It's not even jagged there at all. Let's get that tiny, tiny bit there. Tiny, tiny bit could be better, but overall I'm pretty happy with that. Let's keep the selection and we'll move it down to the next. Hopefully this next one is the same basic shape. Of course it isn't. But let's follow the same basic shape anyway and see how it looks. No, that won't work. Never mind. Select. None. Now we gotta have magic twice. Oh no, I did that on hood black. Crap. Layers matter. Select none. Yeah. And now we're going to do now we're going to do a new layer for blue. Yep. So we'll do this blue action. Same concept. We're going to start there. Or do I want to make it more aggressive? Sort of there. Bend it to there first. Are you not working? Design. Follow that line down to there, and then we'll bend it into there. That should, if I'm not mistaken, take me to where I want to be heading into the back of the car. So let's bend this little guy like so, and then this little guy comes down a bit, this little guy comes out a bit, kind of subtle, don't want that to loop up. Should be about right. I hope. We'll grab our blue. We're of course going to need a pinstripe for that as well. I might do a white stripe on the outside of the orange as well. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll do an upward swoop from the headlight to match up to this and then carry it back to terminate there. I don't know. Maybe it's starting to feel a little overdone at that point. What do we think, guys? Feedback in the comments, please. Let me know what you think. I like this side so far. I like the idea of on the front, but I don't know that I love the execution quite yet. I guess that's going to be orange and blue. I guess it's both of them, huh? Coming back. Let's do a pinstripe real fast. I think I like it. I think I might have been wrong about these headlights though. Might change them to black. Of course, it's hard to say at the moment because they're not, like, they're still spec mapped. So I don't know how they're going to look when they're gold. Or not gold, I'm saying gold. When they're proper orange. Because I'm not going to leave them spec mapped. I only want the silver area to be spec mapped. And maybe the hood, the black part of the hood. But let's carry this back and see what happens. I'm not sure yet what I want to happen here. Maybe the orange will terminate quickly, and then the blue will sort of dominate that area. Let's give it the blue first. I guess that's big triangle there. Coming into that body line. So I'm just going to take it from here, roundabout, to about there. Let's just see what this looks like. Ba-da-bum-bow. It's going to have to come down some, huh? Go. That means I might have to do a bodyline pinstripe. Those are freaking hard to do. What up, Yet? Blast from the past, Yet Tejan, the main man, the brake bias controlling amazing dude. That's your official nickname. Don't know. I think I kind of wish I'd left that going straight back along the body line. And let's just see what happens when it terminates right at the... see what happens when it terminates right at the orange where it meets up. What you been up to yet? How's life? In beautiful Turkey land. Oh, hang on. I need to bend this a little bit. Match the body line. I kind of nailed that on the first drag, didn't I? I guess the bonnet stuff's going to need to be below the left stuff. Well, what's wrong with Turkey these days? It hasn't been in the news much. Some of your neighboring countries have been sort of dominating the news cycle. Do a quick pinstripe here. This really should be in the left now that I think about it, but it's okay. I'll carry it over. You know what? No, I'm gonna move this bit to the door and quarter panel section and give it a pinstripe, and then we'll figure out what to do at the front. What have I done? Oh shoot. Moved the wrong one. Alright, what did I mess up? It's the black. It's the wrong thing. There it is. Okay, I feel like something's still out of shape, but we'll figure it out. Blue swoop, hood, hood. Ah, that needs to go down here. Oh, with Erdogan? Yeah, it's a mess over there, dude. That whole region of the world right now, or right now, that region of the world seems to struggle. We'll say it kindly that way. And what do I have black there? What did I mess up? Oh, that's so weird. What did I mess up here? So whatever this is covering up. Oh, I see what I did. Crap. I put the two pinstripes in. So that needs to be there. And then I need to duplicate it and put it there, I believe, and then no, that's not right. Delete. I got distracted talking to Yit, and now I've messed up my paint. My layering is all jacked up. Where's this black at? There it is. Okay. Okay, so what I did was I painted this blue on the same layer as something else. So I'm going to duplicate it, move it up, and then erase from that layer all of this. And that should get me where I want to be. Alright. Sweet. Now, do I feel like I need to follow that body line with more of a black pinstripe, or just let it peter out like that into a spike? I think I can let it peter out into a spike. Now what do I do with this? Maybe follow it up into the door frame. Hey, thanks, John. There's a big change that's gonna happen. I put the spec map on the whole car for now, but I'm going to, when I figure out placement on stuff, I'm gonna take the banner section, I think, out of the spec map so that it's not carrying the matte finish. Um, but I'm going to leave the matte everywhere else. All the colors basically are going to be standard reflectivity, and then the silver is going to be the silver. Trying to figure out what to do with this little spot. I need to patch that a tad, and then maybe swoop up to the A pillar. Maybe carry. Might do a black roof and A pillar here. So let's see, that means I'd want to swoop up. About like that. Where do I want this at? Let's see, we're going to do left. A pillar swoop. I'm just going to bring it from here to here with a curve and see if I get lucky on the first try. See if we get lucky. Oops. Aren't you closing? There it goes. No one is you and your vision. Yeah, I don't know about the hood stripes yet. I like the concept of them. I'm just not sure about their execution as of yet. Boom, 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 boom. Down a couple clicks, please. That's about right. Little too much. Still a little too much. It's weird. It's like it exaggerates it with the angle. I'm kind of locked in now. I sort of have to do the A-pillar swoop or the A-pillar situation now. Kind of should do a little black patch right there as well. Little patch time. Little bitty patch time. For a black patch, one must select black paint. Oh, it's not even in that part. Isn't it? I guess not. Is that part of the hood? No, it's down there, isn't it? Yeah, it's definitely down there. Okay. So let's make that make sense then. 1 and then 3. 1, 2. Black line 1, 2. Black line 1, 2. And then it's this little guy right there. There we go. Now if I remove it from the A pillar, it should get me where I want to be. All right, let's second guess ourselves on this black hood. I could go with or without it. Let's drop some logos on the hood and then we'll play with it both directions with logos. I can use, I'll just do text ones again. Center line, please. I'll go ahead and do the select from path, select grow by 2, okay. And let's go ahead and do a black background for now. I can always change it later for the letters. No, let's do a white background for now because I might do a black hood. I'm leaning toward a black hood. So white. Let's turn the hood back on. Nice. drop. So I'll narrate the next one a little bit more here, let you know what I did just now. We'll do it for torque. About the right size, isn't it? I think torque's going to have to be smaller, though. I won't be able to go to 109 on torque because it's going to need to be more narrow. Take it to, say, 95. We'll see how that looks. We'll just rotate it in situ and see. But first, we're going to restrict our layer here. I guess right now, because it's only text, it doesn't matter. Let's check our size. I want it to be just a little bit smaller than Dirty, because number one, the hood tapers in. Number two, it's a longer word, and I've still got to put the grow on it. So let's take a look, and then we'll do some undos. See how it's too large still. So what did I put it at? 95. So let's do 85. Getting close. Probably need to do like 75. I think that's about right. All right, so to talk you through this, what I want to do is create the outline backer like I did for Dirty behind torque. But torque is going to be orange. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a path from the text, and then I'm going to select that path. So select from path, and now I've basically highlighted, outlined with a selection the text, and then I want to grow that selection by 2. And now with white selected, I want to paint the selection. Simple as that. Now I've got a clear, nice, high pixel quality backer here. Now what I want to do is move these two guys this way to where I can see the whole word easily. I'm going to put them in a group of their own. And because there's text, it'll take over the whole 1920 by 1080 or 2048 by 2048, I think it is, whatever it is, these templates. And I want to crop this to the selection. I guess I should have done the whole thing there. Layer, crop to selection. Now, when I rotate, it'll rotate right here instead of moving the whole thing around. There we go. So Yeah, that's not terrible. It's not bad. I like it. I think I like this. I'm not 100% sold yet on my hood stripes, but I think I like it. I think I'll know more when I think I'll know more when I get the other side on, maybe, and take him out of the spec map. Tempted to start doing spec map things now. At least for the front. I feel like I want a logo there, maybe a Dunlop Tires logo. I don't know. It's one of those paints, I like it, I don't love it yet, but again, there's so much that I still need to do spec map wise. Let's go ahead and do some of it. Okay, let's talk through how to remove something from the spec map, because you'll recall right now our spec map is just one big command of reflectivity, right? Make everything the same level of matte. So what we want to do is from our graphics folder, we want to select the item or items that we want to sit on top of the spec map. So I'm going to go down here and look at my front and say that, let's see, I've got headlights, front bumper swoop, basically this whole thing. I want to duplicate and then bring that whole section up within my red channel. So now within the red channel, I've got all this stuff, right? All this stuff. And it's interesting that the orange is the exact same as the orange value that I'm using for the spec map. But what I want to do here is probably turn this off so I can see it all. And take my headlights, and what I'll do is I'll just make everything black, right? If it doesn't make sense, hopefully it will in a sec. Should I merge all these? Yeah, let's merge all that. And let's do a layer, color map, color exchange, everything orange, change to black, and turn this back on. And now you can see how all of the pieces, basically what I've done is I've carved a hole into the spec map. So everything's reflective except for the areas that I've said to be black, or everything's matte or whatever. And I'm basically saying remove that, right? Don't do that for the items that I've colored in black. So now when I export to my spec map, go back and look at my car. There we go. See how now the orange is standing out more, which I think is what I want. Still not sure about these headlights. Let's do the bonnet stuff. Same concept here for my bonnet. I'm going to duplicate the whole layer and bring it up. But this time I'm going to turn off the hood, I think. Let's turn that off. I'm going to make that black.
I don't need you to tell me how fucking good my coffee is, okay? I'm the one who buys it. I know how good it is.
I'm the one who buys it. I know how good it is. Those headlights aren't working for me. Not working for me. black better? I think black's better. But maybe black should be matte. What's that blue? I missed something there. Oh! And that's what happens when you accidentally export the spec map to your car paint. It's the danger of toggling too quickly between them. Thinking about getting rid of the orange stripe on the hood altogether, but I feel like the blue gets a bit lost. Maybe the splitter should be black. I feel like there's just too much orange up front. Oh. That's definitely better. Should be matte though, shouldn't it? Cleaning up some stuff. Okay, starting to come together, I think. What do we think? Up, down, yay, nay? Votes, por favor. Recommended adjustments. That's a problem. Oh, no, it's not, because that's going to be uncovered anyway. It's no big deal. All right, so let's take a sticker, my hood logos that we just did, and let's put them on top of the car, so, or on top of the spec map. So do it the same way we were just talking about. I guess I need, yeah. Okay, we're gonna duplicate all that, and we'll bring it all up. Put it in here. So now we've got the logos there, and I'm just going to turn off the text. And for the outlines, I'll convert them to black. Back to black, please. White to black. And that'll just so yeah, man, I'll be mirroring the other side. I always just do one side as well as I can, and then when I'm pretty happy with it, I've got logos placed and all that stuff, graphics placed and all that. I'll do some flipping. So I'm just sort of figuring out what I want reflective and what I don't right now. Some more stuff maybe down the center here. Not convinced I want silver in the back. I might make that white or black. When you say the orange stripe, John, are we talking about on the hood or the back of the car, or the this area? I'm gonna experiment with something real fast regarding the back of the car. Not feeling the silver above and below, but I might feel a matte black back there. So I'm going to experiment with making this whole section matte black. As Marquez Brownlee calls it, matte black everything. What am I missing here? Select none. Oh. Well, that would be why. What am I doing? Maybe I just need to delete that. Oh, did I just do that? Dang it, did it again. Export as car, export, 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 and export as spec map, export. Every time I do spec maps, especially when I'm painting a car from scratch, man, I do that a dozen times. Nope. Don't like that. Don't like that. Okay. What do I like? If I don't think I like the white sandwich, right? White above, white below. Maybe I would like it if it were actually white and not spec mapped. Maybe it should be orange below as well. Yeah, I'm not sold here either. But those are like the hardest part of the car to make so far, and so I'm so reluctant to go adjust it. Maybe the whole thing should just be blue. I'll experiment with that. I feel like I'm stalling out on the left a bit. Let's experiment with what did I do wrong there? Color exchange. Take my orange, there it is. Make it blue. Turn off that pinstripe. See what it looks like. Hmm. What do you think? Should the whole front of the car be black? And the rear silver? Is that what's messed up? Don't know. Don't know. Starting to lose my creative juices a little bit. Let's try something slick here. It should match, right? Yeah. I'm going to try something I've never tried before real fast. That's the background of the mask. What I want to do is select that. No, it doesn't work. I want to select the actual white outline of the car so that I can paint this curve without having to paint that curve. To give that pinstripe, to flow that pinstripe down the body line. Perhaps the front should be blue. A little bit stuck on my design. A little bit stuck. Happens. Thinking about it. Thinking about it. Losing creative juices. What have I done? Interesting error. Huh. Never seen that error before. But I don't like it. Whatever it did, I don't like it. What in the world? So somehow, like, maximum roughness has gotten applied. What have I done? Let's keep this, and I think this is what's going on. Where if I'm going to have a spec map, it has to have something there. That's what it is. That's what it is. Maybe I've never removed a spec map before. I fear that I might have wandered away from the lo-fi thingamabob that I was a part of. There we go. So I'm sure. Probably going to get copyright strikes now. I don't know, folks. I'm running out of... Like, I think the only thing that I love so far is this, right? And I like the way I've swooped it up, and I'm going to terminate it back here at this transponder or whatever that is. I don't know what I'm going to do with the back yet, but I think I've been going for like 2 hours and am sort of stuck with what to do with the front. So I might end this early. For those of you who were here at the beginning, I hope that setting up and learning, I hope you learned some techniques. But I think I'm going to stop for now and pick this up maybe later today. I don't know if I'll stream it or not, but I'll pick this up later today, and maybe I'll be inspired on what to do with the front of this thing. 'Cause right now I'm just not. So, thank you for watching. Good to see you guys. Yeah, I'll update this thumbnail probably with whatever the finished car is. And, you know, catch us at on the live stream for the Bathurst 1000 coming up in a couple weeks. Talk to you soon.